the clock that tells the time, and see the brave day sunk in hideous night. When I behold the violet past prime and sable curls all silvered over with white. With lofty trees I see barren leaves, which earth from heat decay and be the herd. And summer's green are girded up, and she's born on the bier with white and bristly beard. Then of thy beauty do I question rain. Then of thy beauty do I question rain. Then of thy beauty do I question rain. That thou among the ways of time must go, since sweets and beauties do themselves forsake, and die as fast as they see others grow. And nothing is some side can make defense, save free to brave him when he takes the hands. Shine bright, let your beauty shine bright. Shine bright, let your beauty shine bright.
Greetings, Philadelphia High School for Girls community. Welcome to our Poetry Month event. Poetry is usually used to express deep, dramatic, exaggerated, and intense feelings, emotions, or ideas. It has many styles, those that rhyme and those that don't, but it always comes from within. Poetry takes on many shapes: the words on a page, spoken word, song lyrics, and don't forget poetry in motion. Because poetry is personal, it cannot be contained. This is what makes it magical. It can also be a release, the letting go of thoughts or feelings that hold you back or down. No matter the vehicle or style, it is a piece of you, the author. I want to thank our student poets who are sharing with us today. Thank you for letting us in to see who you are, if only for a moment. We are very lucky to also have alum and published author Dee Hatcher with us today to share her poem inspired by her time here at Girls High, Winged Victory Woman. We hope that you enjoy all of the poetry performances today.
Here in the forest of Arden we stand, to honor the birth of a brilliant man. One day he strolled into London and said, "Why, by the flax hairs on my balding head." He saw the theatres, proclaimed "'Twill be mine," not by conquest, but by art and rhyming lines. That statement led to a series of plays, 37, still performed to this day, and sonnets, 154, those of love, envy, lost summers, and gore. Now, April 23rd, 'tis the season to thank a man filled with hope and reason. Lo, give me your hands. Together we will wish a happy birthday to dear old Bill.
Good afternoon, Girls High community, and welcome to our virtual Poetry Day assembly. My name is Miss Duffy. I am an English teacher, and I am happy and proud to be introducing this video to you. As you may know, April 23rd is National Poetry Day. Every year, Girls High celebrates this day by gathering students in the marble hallway to share their favorite poems or recite their own original writing. Though things look a little different this year, with the help of Miss Wood, Miss Hying, Miss Titana, Miss Misi, and Miss D'Alessandro, as well as many students, this tradition is able to continue in 2021. It has been my pleasure to watch the submissions for this assembly roll in. Girls High has so many creative and thoughtful students who are eager to contribute to this video. On behalf of the English department, I would like to thank everyone who put their time and talents into making this assembly happen. As Rita Dove said, poetry is language at its most distilled and most powerful. The students in this video prove that point in beautiful ways, and I can't wait for you to see what they can do. To get things started, I would like to recite a poem called, appropriately, At the Student Poetry Reading by Kim Stafford. I guess you could call me broken, says one. I'm still lonely, says another, but now I can name it with a song. In my poem, says another, I can forget I am forgotten. Now I understand being misunderstood, says another. And another says, in a bold, undeniable voice of power, I won't step down for myself again. And they are beautiful, beautiful, standing one by one at the mic where they have come forth at last from behind the curtain. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce the Girls High Poetry Day video. Enjoy!
Hello, I am Maya Simpson, and I am in 9th grade. The poem I'm going to be reading is the Harlem Renaissance poem by Maya Simpson, Me. Hold fast to dreams of equality, freedom, and diversity. They say all men are made equally, but are they really? Welcome people with open arms and do no harm, for we will have a land of the free. So hold on to dreams and keep hope that the world will change.
My name is Ayanna Johnson. I'm in 265, so I'm a senior. I'm going to be reading a poem that I wrote in the beginning of the school year. It's an I am from poem. I am from big goals and expectations. I am from short skirts, tight ponytails, and pom-poms on Saturday mornings. I am from point your toes, straighten your legs, and spot when you turn. I am from questions about life after death. I am from the deafening sound of my alarm clock as the sun rises. I am from laying back and watching as the stars pirouette and glide through the night sky. I am from dreams of family and undeniable love. I am from smiling from ear to ear as I pretend to be okay. I am from feeling like I am locked in a cage that I have trapped myself in. I am from feeling like I am suffocating while knowing I am still breathing. I am from the warmth of my grandmother's hands as she touches my shoulder and reminds me that I am still young. I am from the pressure of perfection due to the worry of failure. I am from the fear of being alone. I am from wiping my own tears because I refuse to let anyone see me down. I am from tomorrow isn't promised, so live for today. I am from believing that mermaids are real. I am from a clean room with pink walls. I am from hopes and dreams of change and success. I am from kind words and positive attitudes. Where I am from has created who I am, and who I am is special. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dorian Adeshokan. I am a senior and I'll be reading my poem called Xenophobia. You hate me because of my skin. You hate me because I'm different. You hate me because I am me. Yes, I may look different, talk different, and act different, but that does not mean I'm any less human. You forget that when we both bleed, the color is red. Your hate runs so deep you built a whole country full of laws and systems to chain me. Yet I still love you, and you hate that. No matter what you throw against me, I will never bear ill will. You despise that the system you built against me has taught me many skills. I will never falter, bend, nor cry because I am destined to fly. And I will never let you stop me because I am free. You may try to rip off my wings, but I will always love you because I will never kill you with disgust, hate, and animosity because I've been told by my ancestors that you killed, destroyed, and ruined to kill you with love and kindness.
I try to be as kind and fair and generous and respectful and courteous to every human being, seeing myself as him, not as his keeper, as her keeper, but really seeing myself. And that's no small matter. That's trying to be an American.
Maya Angelou. a legendary figure known for her 7 autobiographies that over a 50-year period challenged cultural disconnects, change resistance, and social and political inequalities in America, has died at 86. Angelou was known widely as a writer and electrifying orator, but it was her early experience in the world of performance, dancing professionally and singing on the calypso circuit, that ripened the charisma she later used to connect with her audience as a poet, author, and playwright. Maya Angelou knew and lived life. From the streets of Harlem and San Francisco, and performing with Billie Holiday and Alvin Ailey dancers, to moments spent with heavily burdened leaders, such as her friends Malcolm X and Barack Obama.
As a girl, Marguerite Ann Johnson endured trauma and abuse that actually led her to stop speaking. But as a performer and ultimately a writer, a poet, Maya Angelou found her voice.
Here, on the pulse of this new day, you may have the grace to look up and out and into your sister's eyes and into your brother's face, your country, and say simply, very simply, with hope, good morning.
She spoke and understood the vernacular of the struggle and the King's English, artfully moving between the forms. She was part of the talented generation of 20th century Black writers, James Baldwin, Lorraine Hansberry, August Wilson, Langston Hughes, Toni Morrison, who captured the tribulation and the promise of Black life fearlessly, demystifying the experience in the context of the ongoing crusade for equality and understanding. But it was Maya Angelou who broke Black feminism into the mainstream with her bestseller, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. She's part of a generation of Black literary glitterati that, unlike today's celebrities, didn't relish in their fame or their fortune, but through style, elegance, and dignity, stayed true to the concept of using art for the larger purpose of giving power to the seemingly powerless, hope to the seemingly hopeless, with an authenticity that brought outsiders in and invited them to see a part of themselves through the lives of others.
If I had my druthers, I'd rather be born Black, American, female in the 20th century, and I was. What a luck I have.
Hello guys, my name is Bibata Ture. I am a 12th grade senior, and today I will be reciting a poem by Tupac Shakur, a poem titled The Rose That Grew from Concrete. Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete? Proving nature law is wrong. It learned to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from concrete when no one else ever cared. Thank you.
My name is Trinity Rutling. I have a poem that I'm going to read off. It's actually created by me, and I named it Non-Paris. Just for you guys that doesn't know the word non-Paris, it means a female who haven't given birth. So I'm going to just read it out. So, another mother, constantly entering into my room to clean and fix up. Once I pushed the buttons of your senseless emotions, you insisted on reacting, wanting no more than the last command, the authority over the rooftop. I walked into my private jet, ready to soar into my own thoughts and try to understand the reasoning behind your choice of words. But then the door creaks and the cat enters, but behind the feline's tail holds heavy footsteps, and I wait as she fixes up my sister's bed, as she begins to fold the non-existent laundry above the mantelpiece. Or maybe it does exist. For some reason, I think it does. Maybe it is a metaphor to speak up and fix things between us, clean up the mess that the two had endeavored into. But I sit in silence because I have no patience to involve myself into the mess I did not make. What I would consider with this poem is like, I'm talking about it's like a second mother I have, and she constantly, try to clean up chores and do activities that really at the moment was just unnecessary, but it's just in order for her to come to me and speak on the things about what just happened, or if she have an attitude about something, she didn't like anything, she would fix something up or just act as if she's doing something just so she can speak about whatever she wants to speak of. And it kind of annoys me because I can't get out of it, because it's like, what are you, like, I can't tell her what to do, or, but at the same time I realize it. But then I thought of it as a metaphor, as though like maybe the reason for it is because she wants to, like, it's like her physical being is really saying, like, let's fix what we just had going on. Maybe, like, even though she's really demanding, but let's fix whatever we have going on. And let's, change it to what's better. And her cleaning up, you're fixing the things literally. And it's kind of cool that I thought of that in that scenario. But, bye.
Let me be patient, let me be kind, make me unselfish without being blind. Though I may suffer, I'll envy it not, and endure what comes, 'cause he's all I've got. And tell him I need him. Knowledge on earth, but if I speak wrong, what is it worth? See, what we now know is nothing compared to the love that was shown when our lives were spared. So tell him I need him, and tell him I love him, and it's gonna be alright, alright. Tell
I am a senior and my name is Matisse Sam, and I am reading A Woman Speaks by Audre Lorde. A moon marked and touched by sun, my magic is unwritten, but when the sea turns back, it will leave my shape behind. I seek no favor, untouched by blood, relenting as the curse of love. Permanent as my errors or my pride, I do not mix love with pity nor hate with scorn. And if you would know me, and look into the eternals of Uranus, where the restless ocean pounds. I do not dwell within my birth or nor divinities. I, who am ageless and half grown and still seeking, my sisters, witches and Dahomey, wear me inside their clothed claws as our mother did, mourning. I have been a woman for a long time. Beware my smile, I am treacherous with old magic, and the noon's furry. With all your wide features, promised, I am a woman and not white.
Hi, my name is Donna Elena Hatcher, and I graduated in class 215. Among other things, I'm a poet, and I recently had a book published entitled Word Dances, Poems on Point. And I'm going to share with you today a poem entitled Winged Victory Woman, for obvious reasons that affects us. And I was asked to share the motivation behind this particular poem and how I tied, well, it's about lots of struggles that we all go through. I think at this particular time, I wrote this in 2014, I was going through a whole bunch of things at one time. But how I connected it to the Winged Victory statue, I'm not really clear about. And I would love to know myself. You know, the book that I have now out is 51 poems, and they're all dated through several decades of my life. And I usually remember the motivation, either it was a photo or a bird or flowers or something or some person in particular. This I can't exactly tell you, but in any event, Winged Victory Woman. I am an alumna of Girls High School. Sometimes I feel like a soldier in battle, barely dodging minefields underfoot. At times I'm a fireman, fighting flames erupting around me and surrounding me. And I can feel like a policeman, trying to maintain order out of chaos in my life. I feel I'm a doctor, diagnosing myself and always attempting to treat someone else. Then I'm a teacher, a preacher, sharing the good I know because I'm daring to care. But it's the times when I feel small or when I feel like I've failed, when I'm in need of a hug, a hand, an assurance of, yes, you can, that I remember I'm also Winged Victory, standing proudly alone, bare feet firmly planted on solid ground. And I remember I have power and wings to fly over, under, and around any obstacle ever found. Remember, Winged Victory was a headless woman who cannot feel the weight of the many hats I wear, nor can she ever see, hear, speak, or do, or know evil, and know anything about the loads I bear. I'm a Girls High girl, and like Winged Victory, a fearless warrior. I am strong, intelligent, and beautiful while being faceless. So I am ageless, raceless, and most times fameless. I am, and you too are Winged Victory Woman, victorious now and always. Remember.
It's my poem called Freedom. Inching closer to your demise, mama making cornbread and apple pies. What is this freedom y'all talking about? I think it's a plan that y'all trying to devise. Tie a string around my waist, giving me a little ways to go. giving me just a taste, but give back and tell me to get back in my place. Feminism was never for me, forced me into a wall, stripping away my femininity. I'm just another black woman. Paint the streets with my blood, that's what puts you so far above. Tired of preaching fake love, step back when push comes to shove. You intimidated by my skin, I'm drawn back by your sins. Can't believe this is how y'all live. Can't worry about what I'm not, just about what I is.
Hello everyone, my name is Messiah Smith. I'm a 12th grader, and the poem that I'm reciting is called Women's Anthem by Langleaf. Women are fierce, they're powerful. No matter what language they speak, how they dress, or the work that they choose to do. What matters is that they have a choice and the freedom to carve out life for themselves. As long as we know women are strong and resilient, we must carry them forward, lift them up, for they are the product of all our other selves. The women we were, the ones we strive to be. The collective struggles of our mothers, sisters, and daughters. Our salvation will only come if we stand together.
Amanda Gorman is the first Youth Poet Laureate in the U.S., using pen and paper to give a voice to social change.
Since I'm the first one, I get to set a precedent. What do I really want to see in the poetic realm in the United States? Yawning wide as the Pacific tide.
Amanda Gorman is the first ever Youth Poet Laureate in the U.S. What is it like to be a first?
It's intimidating, and I never really thought that I would be that person who's the first, because I remember when I was little reading about people, it doesn't get past me that not only am I the first Youth Poet Laureate, but at the same time I'm the first woman Youth Poet Laureate, I'm the first Black Youth Poet Laureate.
19-year-old Amanda was awarded the prestigious title last April at Gracie Mansion in New York City.
A lot of your poetry focuses on social change, social justice. Where does that passion come from?
I think that passion comes from my heritage, comes from this place where, like, I must write, I must speak up, because there's been too many people who've been kept from that opportunity.
Who inspired you growing up?
My mother.
Amanda grew up in Los Angeles, and she attributes a lot of her success to her mom, Joan Wicks, a teacher who raised her and her twin sister as a single mother. Amanda's passion for poetry started in the 3rd grade.
Talk to me about when you first knew you loved poetry.
I was around 7 or 8 years old, and my teacher, Shelley, had us reading Ray Bradbury's Dandelion Wine. I was like, oh my goodness, Bradbury just related candy to something completely different. That's what I want to do with my life. That's who I want to be.
I love that it was a metaphor. You were a 3rd grader with a metaphor, and that's all you needed.
The metaphor hit home. It was like magic. Poetry has definitely been one of the most stable expressions for me of my identity and who I am. I love whenever I'm writing to have just all these books of people I look up to beside me. What I really like to do is choose like one word from each of like a collection of books I have, make like a word cloud and select them to make a new poem.
But public speaking didn't come naturally.
Heal or past and will always be our future.
It took courage, determination, and grit for Amanda to get on stage.
You've spoken about having a speech impediment, and do you feel like in some ways that led you to poetry?
Oh, 100%. And a lot of times I talk about having a speech impediment and the difficulty of literally speaking up for myself. The voice I'm hearing aloud can't pronounce R's, it can't pronounce sh. It's kind of sounds a bit garbled, but I hear this strong, self-assured voice when I'm reading this, simple text. And what that told me is the power of your inner voice over that which people might hear through their ears. The only thing that could impede me was myself.
Now a sophomore at Harvard, Amanda started One Pen, One Page, an organization inspiring other young writers to share their voices.
So in a world that I think needs light constantly, in a world where social change is being talked about a lot, where does poetry come in?
Poetry is at the forefront of that. From the Declaration of Independence to Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, poetry has always been the thread that is weaving throughout kind of the fabric of American and global history.
I straddle black girls' tango between northern heights.
The blood of my pen against the cool flesh of my journal.
What is breaking through, breaking boundaries? What does that mean to you?
I think breaking through, especially in this day and age, is not only breaking through the door, but it's holding it open so that other people can come through. Will we write an American lyric? We are just beginning to tell. Focus on your path, focus on your purpose, and how you, specifically and specially as yourself, can break through a barrier.
Hello, my name is Christine Hine. I teach English and Latin at Girls High. The name of my poem is Dirty Feet. It is dedicated to my eldest daughter, Luna. I study those tiny feet and buried toes as she sleeps. The dirt, scrapes, and broken nails, a story of how she spent her day, where she's wandered, what games she's played, the pretend princess she was while her younger self napped, and the scary, roaring monster who chased the newly awakened sibling later on. A scar on the third toe on the left, where she fell on the concrete 3 summers ago, before her legs knew what they were doing. The smudge of a bruise 2 inches up on the right one, a miscalculation of her self-sufficiency and coordination from last week. Higher still on both sides, a collection of small silver memories mark her knees, chronicling exploits that will mean nothing in a month's time and slowly fade away after a year's upward stretching growth. The last remnants of shimmering pink fantasy catching the waning sunset, flashing back to last week's rainy day beauty shop. It almost hurts to disturb the slumber of the righteously exhausted and wash away the souvenirs of her hard work, to cocoon her sleepily as fan breezes stir sun-streaked hair across the shadow of her brow. A small, breathy snore beckoning me through the crack in the door, a slim sliver of pale light.
What is your substance? Whereof are you made? That millions of strange shadows on you tend. Since everyone hath, everyone one shade, and you but one can every shadow lend. Describe Adonis, and the counterfeit is poorly imitated after you. On Helen's cheek all art of beauty set, and you in Grecian tires painted new. Speak of the spring and the poison of the year. The one doth the shadow of your beauty show, the other as your bounty doth appear, and you in every blessed shape we know. In all external grace you have some part, but you, like none you for constant heart. In all external grace you have some part, but you, like none you for constant heart.
My name is Andrea Lee. I am in 9th grade, and the poem today that I will be reading is called Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter and twisted lies. You may throw me in the very dirt, but still like dust I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you besetted with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns, with the serenity of the tides, just like hopes spring high, still I rise.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Calexia Atkins, and my poem is by Martin Luther King Jr. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that.
Hi, my name is Sonali Patel. I'm a former senior. Today I'm going to read a poem by Rebecca Spector. This is how it works. You're young until you're not. You love until you don't. You try until you can't. You laugh until you cry. You cry until you laugh. And everyone must breathe until their dying breath. No, this is how it works. You peer inside yourself. You take the things you like, and you try to love the things you took. And then you take that love you made and stick it into someone else's heart, pumping someone else's blood and walking arm in arm. You hope it don't get harmed, but even if it does, you'll just do it all again.
One of the things that I did is that at NYU, I decided to take a writing class again. I was going to attempt it again. And the person teaching that writing class was a woman by the name of Louise Bogan, a very renowned artist, writer. She was the poetry editor at a place called The New Yorker. And I walked into a classroom. There were 3 women there, 2 white women and myself, and the rest were all white males, right? So I sat by the door because I said, well, this will be an easy escape, right? And Louise Bogan came in and says, good evening to all of you, a very formal woman. And then she said, does anyone have a poem to share? And I raised my hand very fast, too sweet. And she called on me. She called me up front. I was up front already. And I had pulled out of my purse a poem. And I read the poem. And for the first time, someone responded. Hands went up, and people responded. And then she responded. And I sat down and said, I'm going to take this class. And I stayed in that class. It was in that class that I published my first poem. College made me understand that I had to probably learn outside that arena called university. That I took some courses, you know, in sociology. I took the classes in psychology, and they told us about these experiments. I knew they were talking about me, you know, I really did. And I knew that we were the little mice, you know, being put in these little tall complexes. I knew at some particular point that I had to get a degree if I intended to continue. Crossed the street from Harlem Hospital, looked up and saw a sign that said the Schomburg Library. And a guy was outside smoking. I said, what is the Schomburg Library? He said, lady, sign in, go inside, they'll tell you inside. So I walked inside this fantastically large room with a fantastically long table with all these books packed up, stacked up, and all these men leaned over, not looking up, even when I came, you know, in my little heels walking across the floor. There was a door there, an office, a glass door, and I knocked on the glass door, and this woman opened the door, and I told her my name, and she said, I'm Mrs. Jean Hudson. And I said, what is the Schomburg? She said, oh, my dear, this library has books only and about Negroes. And I said with my smart 19-and-a-half-year-old mouth, there must not be many books in here, huh? She never let me forget that. Oh, it's a great joy to be a mentor, to see students who come into the university. Some are lost like I was lost. You know, some feel completely overwhelmed, right? Some will come and say, I can't do this work probably. and you work with them privately, right? Some who will take an exam and you realize they didn't understand anything about the question, then you would bring them to your office and say, okay, what don't you understand? Because I've been there. I understand what that's truly all about. So it's been a great joy as a writer to choose some of the students who would go with me when I had a reading. Higher education is key to keeping a country strong. The reason why this country is a wreck right now because it has not drawn on the talent that it has here in this country. And so we've pushed them to do that more via women's studies and Latino studies and Jewish studies and Black studies. We've made them understand the possibilities with higher education.
Hi, my name is Hazel Vega. I'm in 9th grade, and this is my poem called Just Really Good Friends. They sneak off during their husband's daily meeting, sharing small kisses and lingering touches in the garden house where they cannot be seen by the world that labels things as a sin. They lay in each other's arms as they gaze at the window, thoughts ceaseless in their heads. One thinking of her love for the other woman, how she hoped things would change, that maybe one day in the future she could walk hand in hand with her lover down the street and not be ridiculed. The other thinking how the woman she loved belonged to someone else, how she lived with another man's missus. She wanted to feel bad and she wanted to feel anything but love for the other woman, but she couldn't. Maybe in a different life they would find their way back to each other, in a life where they could shout their love from rooftops and not have to hide it in garden houses or behind locked doors when the men were elsewhere. The meeting has ended and they must return home, places where each woman dreaded to be. Their husbands ask why do they spend so much time together. As the women marvel about telling the truth that they are madly in love with each other, they don't. Instead they say, we're just really good friends.
My name is Ashley Linding. I'm 17 years old and I'm in 11th grade. And today I'm going to be reading In Life by Angie Flores. In life, there are people that will hurt us and cause us pain, but we must learn to forgive and forget and not hold grudges. In life, there are mistakes we will make, but we must learn from our wrongs and grow from them. In life, there are regrets we will have to live with, but we must learn to leave the past behind and realize it is something we can't change. In life, there are people we will lose forever and can't have back, but we must learn to let go and move on. In life, there are going to be obstacles that will cause interference, but we must learn to overcome these challenges and grow stronger. In life, there are fears that will hold us back from what we want, but we must learn to fight them with the courage from within. God holds our lives in his hands. He holds the key to our future. Only he knows our fate. He sees everything and knows everything. Everything in life really does happen for a reason. God's reason.
So it is right for us to celebrate today Dr. King's dream and his vision of unity.
Sometimes I wonder what life could be inside a world filled with unity. Just think of all that we could create in a world that is free from hate. Oh, this life gets very hard. Open your eyes, open your heart. I do believe we'll leave a legacy. I wanna see how things can be if we believe we'll beat the odds. Then we can mend our broken
courage to stand up in the face of the fiercest resistance and despair and say, this is wrong and this is right. We will not settle for what the cynics tell us we have to accept. And we will reach again and again, no matter the odds, for what we know is possible. That is the conviction we must carry now in our hearts. As tough as times may be, I know we will overcome. I know there are better days ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Sanaya Hall and I am a senior at the Philadelphia High School for Girls. The poem I will be reading for you today was written by one of my closest friends, Imani Kelly. Her poem, Music to My Ears, expresses the feelings and the experience she had of her first love. And fortunately, she gave me the pleasure of being able to share her work with you today. This is her poem. Your dialect is a melody that keeps ringing in my ears. You're as clear as a musical note, the music that's always playing in my head. A musical annotation that make up perfection in all voices. You are the perfect rhythm. Looking at you sends me sound waves, giving the most perfect of frequencies. You are my harmony, a song of perfection. Your voice knocks me out of my own thoughts, demanding that I listen. Thank you all for allowing me to perform this beautiful poem. Bless you and stay safe.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Hamlet. All that glitters isn't gold. The Merchant of Venice. Wear my heart upon my sleeve. Othello. The king's name is a tower of strength. Richard III. Nothing will come of nothing. King Lear. It's Greek to me. Julius Caesar. What's done is done. Macbeth. Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. 12th Night. Happy Shakespeare Day.
Cannot provoke him up, sometimes anger thrust into his hide, which heavily he enters